All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Matt here from Chill TCG. Today we're going to be looking at, today we're going to be watching the Grand Finals match from the Chill Series 13 that, wrapped up this past Wednesday. It was Jonathan Patricio, Angel V-Spec, playing Alessandro Cariffi. I'm just going to call him Carif for the video. He was playing sort of a newer version of Reshiram and Charizard, so definitely going to be a little bit of a hard matchup for Angel here, who is playing Lucmetal, but, going to be a valuable match that we can watch here. Should be interesting. Should be at least somewhat entertaining. Cariffi, I believe, might be going first. I honestly missed the coin flip there. We'll see in just a minute. Starts with the Cramorant, Dedenne, and then Reshiram and Charizard. Elects to go ahead and start with Reshiram and Charizard in the active spot. I'm not sure if starting with Cramorant was the better decision or not. Of course, can get knocked out by Zacian, so might be a little bit hesitant to keep it on the bench, so we're having it in the active spot. Looks like Carif is going to be going first, although it's probably not a huge deal. It doesn't have any energy in hand or any Welder. No Giant Hearth or anything like that. He's going to go ahead and Cherish Ball. Going to find a second Reshiram and Charizard. Going to look through his deck. You'll see here that this is pretty much like a Welder box deck. Plenty of different attackers. You see you have the Reshiram and Charizards. You see the Dubwools, the Mega Lopunny, the Cramorants as well. Just a variety of different attackers, as well as some other cards in the deck that you'll probably see in most other decks as well. But it's sort of a newer revision of an old style deck with some newer cards that, definitely make the deck a bit more better, give it a bit more options. And I think Cramorant's a great inclusion in Dubwool as well. And Reshiram and Charizard, it's always been a fantastic card. So, very cool deck. Fortunate for him that he played a couple Lucmetals here in top 8. Had a, I wouldn't say just an easy path, but, definitely had some good matchups in top 8. So definitely, always good to see. He's got, okay, so he just detonate out that hand. Starts with a Fire Energy. And he actually doesn't attach this turn, which is very, very interesting. I'm not sure if he sort of didn't want to get Crushing Hammered or not. I honestly have no idea what his strategy there was. Does have the Jirachi in hand. Angel V-Spec here, though, he does start with the Zamazenta. Not going to help him out with the Reshiram and Charizard. Not going to be very useful at all. Very bad starting Pokemon for him in this matchup. Kind of just, is out there and potentially could get knocked out for 2 prizes. So he's going to go ahead and Professor's Research. Just away that first hand. Does find the Lucmetal and the Zacian. Going to put them both on the bench. Attach the Metal Coating Energy to Lucmetal, getting rid of its weakness. And he will be ending his turn with Intrepid Sword on Zacian, finding 2 Metal Energies and putting them directly on. So 3 energies in that first turn. Going second. Definitely not a bad start for Angel V-Spec, other than that bad sort of starting option. Cariffi top deck into that second Fire Energy. So potentially, he could Welder 2 onto this Reshiram and Charizard. And draw 3 more cards. Not going to have enough to get the, that 230, Flare Strike attack off. But if he wanted to, I suppose he could go ahead and use his GX attack for a quick KO here. But it's looking like, he's just going to Welder 2 on, doesn't find any more energies. Finds a couple gears and some Quick Balls. He's going to go ahead and Quick Ball away a Pokégear. Got to find the Dedenne, maybe thinking about grabbing that Crobat. Plenty of cards in hand that he might not want to discard, but he is going to go ahead and grab the Dedenne. So let's see what he decides to do here. No third energy. It probably would be good, right, for him to get a manual attachment this turn. Quick Balls away the, the Fire Crystal, so could be very interesting. I'm not sure exactly how many he has in the deck, but it does grab the Zigzagoon. He's going to go ahead and just discard that Zigzagoon. Get 6 new cards, his second Dedenne of the game already. Does find that third Fire Energy to manually attach. He's just going to go ahead and GX attack for, the 200, but of course 400 with weakness. Take 2 prize cards early here in the game. I think he knows that he can sort of just Flare Strike, right, when he needs to, and that 300 damage isn't going to be entirely necessary most of the time, especially, since you're hitting for weakness a lot of times. But with the Metal Coating Energy, then, of course, he will not. So we see Angel V-Spec put his second Metal Coating Energy on this Lucmetal, and he goes ahead and he pops the full Metal Wall while attaching Metal Goggles to his Zacian. So he got rid of the energy on that Reshiram and Charizard there. Carif discarded the Fire Crystal. I'm sure he has another one in deck. but still very interesting indeed. He does have the Giratina that could be helpful, but just getting rid of one of these metal energies, the coating energies off of Lucmetal probably isn't going to be a big deal. You're going to want to do it more than twice. Maybe, perhaps, if he's able to draw into another Scoop Up Net, then that could be potentially, a very good play for him. But we'll see. So I think he does have Welder in hand. I think his best bet is to, Welder 2 onto Reshiram and Charizard here, right on the active spot. Hope that he draws into a Scoop Up Net. It could be very good, and if he does get, okay, so no Scoop Up Net. Although he does have some ways to search through his deck here. If he was able to double Giratina this turn and just get a, get a nice sort of, well, he's not going to have 4 energies on anyway, so I guess he's got another turn to wait. But that is always an option, right? So you can play Giratina, scoop it up, play it again, discard both of those special metal coating energies off of Lucmetal, getting rid of, or sort of reapplying its weakness to fire and potentially getting a one-shot KO on it. Could be very good. Although that Zacian on the bench does not have its weakness to fire removed, doesn't have any coating energy, so Cariffi could maybe search for a boss's orders to get the KO on the Zacian. Regardless of what he decides, at the moment he's going to have to get both KOs on both of these Pokemon to get to draw enough prize cards for the win. So we're going to see a Stellar Wish here. Finds the Fire Crystal and a Quick Ball. I think the Fire Crystal is probably your best bet. Even if you get Marnied or whatnot this next turn, I think just getting those energies back into your deck or back into your hand, whatever it might be, right now is going to be valuable. Even if he decides to hold on to it, it's not a bad play. It's there if he needs it. He does have the Giant Hearth in the active, or out on the board as his stadium, but Lucmetal might be playing. Who knows, right? He could be playing a Chaotic Swell or 2, right? And that could really disrupt his energy acceleration. We see some Scoop Up Nets. We see the boss. He's got one boss in there with a couple more Welders. Kind of searching through. We see 2 more Giant Hearts, so only 4 energies left. So I think he's kind of a little bit debating, what his best move is here. He's not going to really be able to attack into him. It's probably not entirely worth it. These Pokemon communications, I don't know if they're going to be entirely necessary for the rest of his game. He might just, recycle through these. Yeah, so he's going to put that back into deck. And he's going to do the same thing with Crobat, but he'll probably just take the Crobat back out. Yep, so he's going to go ahead and just get rid of a few cards in his hand. Draw cards a little bit quicker. Hopefully next turn, he's going to have access to, he can pop that Fire Crystal, Welder for some more cards, switch in, and potentially get some good damage off. So Cariffi here, I think just playing this Crobat's a good choice. Draw 4 cards. We do see a Giant Hearth, Mega Lopunny, a couple switch cards, no Welder though. That's fine, to be honest, as long as, Angel V-Spec, as long as he doesn't, or Jonathan, right? As long as he doesn't play a Chaotic Swell, then Cariffi is most definitely going to be able to get a nice attack off next turn. And we see the Fire Crystal come out, so I think this is smart. You might as well play now in case you do get Marnied or Stamped or whatever it might be. And I think this is a pretty safe spot to end your turn. This Jirachi, of course, could get knocked out. If it doesn't, that's obviously a bonus for Cariffi. You can search his deck a little bit. We see a Crushing Hammers come out. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah. So that actually, okay, until a second Crushing Hammers. Let's see if you can get a heads here on this one. Okay, so the second one is a heads. This is actually pretty clutch. And a third Crushing Hammers in a row. Okay, and that one was tails. Okay, so 1 for 3. Is there a fourth? No, okay. That was actually pretty important. So now you're kind of forcing Cariffi, or Seraph. I'm not sure exactly, how you say it, but I'm kind of forcing him, right, to need that Welder in order to get the 2 fire energies onto Reshiram and Charizard next turn. We do see the Marnie, although this could actually benefit Cariffi potentially if he's able to get, a Welder in hand this turn, maybe some energies. We'll see what these 4 cards look like. Okay, so we see a Scoop Up Net and another Jirachi. Not super ideal. If this Jirachi lives a turn, then he should be okay, but we do see the 3rd energy, and it is a coating energy on Zacian, getting rid of its weakness, and he's going to actually end his turn by passing with Intrepid Sword instead of getting damage off on this Jirachi. So this leaves Cariffi with the ability to not only use Stellar Wish this turn, but Scoop Up Net out, and also grab some energy. So if he's able to find a Welder here, he could get some very valuable damage off onto this Lucmetal. So, we're going to see, Giant Hearth, grab 2 energies. He's going to go ahead and Stellar Wish. Does he find the Welder? He does not. Unfortunate. Finds a boss, some Scoop Up Net. The Giratina is still in deck from what I know, and that could be pretty useful for him. I think, honestly, his best bet right now, well, it's tough. That Welder would have been pretty good. Although he, that Zacian only has 1 metal coating energy on it, right? So, I guess at some point, if you are able to find that, he's going to have to pass his turn. If you are able to find that Giratina, discard that metal, that coating energy from Zacian, get the 1-hit KO with Reshiram and Charizard, put yourself in a pretty decent position, and kind of get your board state in a better spot. We see the Pokédolls come out. Could be really good for Angel. Just sort of stall him out potentially. He's going to put a 3rd energy on Lucmetal, and this turn probably get some damage off. Oh no, he's actually just going to go ahead and Interrupted Sword. This is an interesting strategy. I mean, drawing cards is never a bad idea. He's got a nice big hand here. Let's see what Care of top decks. It's a Giant Hearth. Not ideal. We can get another Stellar Wish off, though, potentially, and I think this turn has a much better chance of finding that Welder for sure. The Giratina is there, and could be very useful, potentially, to get a one-shot KO on this Zacian. He does have 2 Scoop Up Nets in hand, actually, so this means that he can get the 1-hit KO on this Lucmetal. He doesn't find the Welder again, though. That's very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Does have a switch, though, so I guess, it's better than nothing. Get some damage off. Kind of just start whittling away at this Lucmetal here. This very tanky Lucmetal Pokemon here. I think, honestly, your best bet, although it's still a possibility he could, scoop up Jirachi, switch in, and go back into that same Jirachi to use Stellar Wish twice a row. Twice, in this turn and find that Welder. But if he does that, then, he's not going to be able to get the double Giratina off to knock out this Lucmetal. So I think holding on to it's a bit better. At this point, you definitely... So he's going to keep the Jirachi in the active spot. Kind of playing a little bit of a chess match here. And we see another Crushing Hammers. This one doesn't seem to be that important. It's heads. Again, not a huge deal. Keeps him at 3 energy. Again, just a manual attachment away from doing that 230 damage. If he's able to if he's able to Stellar Wish and find this Welder, then he can definitely get the 1-hit KO on this Lucmetal. So let's see here. Didn't draw into it. Only 12 cards in deck. So has a pretty decent chance of finding one of these 2 Welders that are in his deck. He's actually going to thin his deck a little bit more by getting rid of his other Giant Hearth, taking 2 of his Fire Energies, only leaving 1 in deck. He's got 10 cards in deck. He's going to look at his top 5, maybe find one of his Welders. That could be very important. He does find the Welder. This means he's going to be able, although, he could have done it anyway. But yeah, he's going to be able to, so he's going to find his Welder. That's always going to be useful. I think at this point you Welder onto the other Reshiram and Charizard attached to the one with already energy set up. If I were him, personally, right, I would Quick Ball for that Giratina, scoop up the Jirachi, place the Giratina, scoop it up, and replace it again. Get those 2 coating energies off Lucmetal, switch on in to that Reshiram and Charizard, and then you're getting a 1-hit KO. And next turn, you're looking pretty good here. So let's see what he does. Let's see what his goal is here. He is going to go ahead and Quick Ball. Most definitely, he's going to discard the Mega Lopunny. I think that's probably your best bet. You want to keep that Jirachi. He finds the Giratina. Now, what's interesting here with the Giratina is, well, it might just be a better idea to get the energy off the Zacian now that I think about it. You're not one-shotting this Lucmetal, but you are one-shotting Zacian, right? So, well, I guess either way, it probably doesn't matter. He's only got 5 cards in deck, so, he definitely doesn't want to draw too many more cards. So he will be setting himself up for the 1-hit KO onto this Lucmetal, and then after this has a few turns to just get some 2-hit KOs onto the Zacians. But Angel V-Spec, Jonathan, he might be able to stall if he's got a couple more Pokédolls in his, in his hand or in his deck, and potentially could deck out Cariffi here. And, he's got to be careful. We see a Mewtwo. I don't know if Cariffi was running any Marnies in this deck. Only 5 cards, though, right? So he's got to be careful. Realistically, he only has 5 turns left before, he loses this game by running out of cards. Let's see if Angel has a few more Pokédolls in deck. We do see 1 more. He's going to put that on the bench. Cariffi does have the Mewtwo, though, so potentially, has the capability of... we see a second metal coating energy come onto the Zacian. That's going to make it difficult to one-shot it. Very difficult indeed. So, not ideal. 4 metal coating energies. Very clutch. Can be very clutch indeed. You know, you might think that Carif has the advantage here. Oh, we see a boss's orders. I'm sure this is going to be into the Dedenne. Okay. He's going to end with Intrepid Sword, actually. Very interesting. Yeah, I think you just got to switch into Reshiram and Charizard. I don't know. You know, at this point, I feel like you need to scoop up that Giratina and play the Mewtwo just so you can get the boss's orders next turn, because that's going to be very, very important. He's going to Outrage on the Lily's Pokédoll. You know, you're two-shotting the Zacian, so you really, you know, you want to get that damage off as early as possible before you run out of cards. If Angel does get another Lily's Pokédoll on the bench, this could be, you know, pretty difficult for Carif, actually. Could be very difficult indeed. We see a Malalana, and actually that could be very clutch as well. I don't know if the math actually works out anyway, but I don't think it does. But we see Angel V-Spec actually go down to only 9 cards in deck with a very large hand. And Cariffi's going to elect to just Outrage again, leaving him with only 3 turns left on a very short timer. 3 dolls in the discard pile. I'm not sure if Angel has any more dolls in deck. Kind of forced now. Oh, and there's the Marnie, actually. So now, it's interesting. I guess he is really trying to find that other Pokédoll. He might have a 4th in deck. But now, giving Carif a lot more time to potentially swing this in his favor, and he does find a boss's orders. We're going to see an Intrepid Sword. I don't know if that Marnie was a smart choice by Jonathan Patricio there, Angel V-Spec. I don't know. I don't know if that was necessarily the right decision. We're going to see a Flare Strike on the Zacian doing 170. And potentially... Well, see, now Malalana still doesn't put him out of range, which is difficult, right? The math doesn't really work out. He can heal 120, leave him with 50 HP, but then, you know, 170, of course, adds up to 220, and that's going to be the perfect number, enough to get another KO on the Zacian. So no matter what, next turn, if he does get attacked, which he is going to, so unfortunately that's going to be the game. I think the Marnie really made it difficult for him. I don't know. Well, I don't think it mattered anyway, because Carif had boss. But the thing is, yeah, you know, I think eventually it would have come down to it. If Angel had another Pokédoll, then things might have been a little bit different there. But a pretty close game for a matchup that you might not, necessarily assume to be, a game that might be too close between these two decks, Reshiram and Charizard and Lucmetal. But you never know. You never know. The start was a little bit tough for Jonathan Patricio, but I think he played it pretty well as he probably could have. Got those coating energies on early, kind of really, put the stall pressure on with the hammers and the dolls. I think that this game, Carif's got to be careful that he doesn't rip through his deck too quickly. He doesn't want to deck out. That seems to be a kind of a valid win condition for Lucmetal here, but yeah, we'll see. It's still definitely the advantage for Carif. I'm not going to lie, especially since he potentially can get a 1-hit KO on a 3-prize Pokemon. Very difficult. We'll see if Jonathan here is able to get some Pokemon out early. If he's able to get those coding energies out early, we see Carif. He's starting with Oranguru and Mewtwo. Definitely want to put Oranguru out, and not that Mewtwo. You're going to want to play that Mewtwo to use its ability there. We see a Cherish Ball, so potentially. He could find that Reshiram and Charizard. No Welder in hand just yet. We see a Cramorant. I think right now you probably just go ahead and I'm not sure. He's gonna Primate Wisdom. I don't know if playing Giant Hearth and thinning your deck first is the smart decision, and playing some of these other cards first. That's probably the more correct sequence to play these cards. And he's gonna go ahead and do that. So very smart. I don't know if Cramorant V is necessarily very. Okay, so he's not actually. I don't know if Cramorant V is a very useful card in this matchup at all, right? So, might just want to discard that. We see a Fire Crystal, not going to be too useful for him this early in the game. Goes for the Dedenne, actually, and I think this is a better decision. He doesn't have any other cards in hand to really facilitate, or to draw cards for him, right? So I feel like, you don't want to go and play all these cards first year of Pokemon and then just rely on top decks for the rest of the game, right? It's not a really good strategy. None of these cards are necessarily that needed for the late game. These are all cards that he has more of in his deck. So he's going to go ahead and discard them. The Boss and the Fire Crystal might be a little bit sketchy. But we saw him do that last game as well. This time he has a Jirachi, has another Cherish Ball, and he does have the Giant Hearth. So not a terrible hand, really, at all. You can Giant Hearth away a few things, Quick Ball away something, play the Jirachi, maybe even end your turn on like a Crobat, right? Maybe even just play Crobat this turn, and draw through your cards a little bit. He is going first again, which is tough. Not going to be able to Welder this turn, so I think you want to set yourself up to maybe just probably just attach one to like a Reshizard this turn, and hope that you can draw some more cards next turn. Find that Welder and really get things rolling. You don't really have to be too fast-paced if you're Carif right now. You really just sort of want to make the correct plays, the safe plays, set yourself up for the next few rounds, and really hope that Jonathan, doesn't have that great of a hand. He's actually starting with Zamazenta again, which is honestly like the worst Pokemon he could start with. Let's see what he's got in his hand here. See what his options are. Again, not a great start. Last game he was able to find the Zamazenta Indization, or the Lucmetal Indization. He's going to go ahead and just Marnie his hand out. Probably nothing that he needed, nothing that he wanted. And Carif probably isn't too upset about that. His hand wasn't terrible, but, could be a bit better. We see the Jirachi in the switch with an energy, so not a bad hand at all. This Crush Cameras could be clutch. Gets tails. Does find the Lucmetal, puts a normal basic fire and energy on. There's the Pokégear. Is he going to be able to find Welder this turn? Does find Welder. Okay. So we're going to see a KO probably on the Zamazenta. Only 2 cards in Angel's hand, so if one of those isn't a way to draw more cards or a Metal Coating Energy, then he could be in some serious trouble here. We're going to see him, of course, get up to 4 energies on this Reshizard, and he's going to be able to switch in. So, a very, very good hand here off the Marnie. And it's looking like Carif's definitely in a really good position. Angel, he's, depending on what those 2 cards is, he's probably stressing out a little bit, I would imagine. Primate Wisdom, I don't know, maybe put Jirachi up there, yeah. Although I think, okay, well, never mind. There's another Jirachi, so not bad at all. I think, yeah, you switch into Reshizard. You just kind of get an early game KO here. You probably put Jirachi like on the bench just cause, right? In case something happens. But yeah, I mean, this seems to be his best option, right? I think you just sort of play, or you sort of you kind of call out your opponent. You're like, I'm gonna knock out this active spot. I'm gonna put that Lucmetal in the active spot for next turn. If you don't have something to defend yourself, then I'm just gonna go ahead and get the early win here, right? So let's see. So gets the 3rd energy on. Yeah, he'll go. Yeah, I think you just attach the 4th. Although actually you don't. And the reason you don't is because you don't want to get full metal walled next turn. And no matter what, you can get the KO on this Lucmetal. So just in case Angel does have like a Coating Energy, or even just another energy in general in hand, you want to make it so you're discarding the least amount of fire energies as possible. So that was a very smart play from Carif there. I think a very knowledgeable play. At the end, it's only going to save him 1 fire energy. And of course, he does have a Marnie and a metal energy in hand, so ended up definitely being the smart move for sure. But to that vein, this means now that you won't be able to attack next turn. So I don't know if actually that was the smart decision. You did save yourself an energy in the long run, but at the same time, you put yourself in a position where you cannot get the win. Whereas if he didn't GX attack last turn, then he could have gotten the win this turn if he did find that 3rd energy. So very, it's kind of a catch-22, I would imagine. But, it's interesting, very interesting. Unfortunate, actually. But, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? That's funny. I bet Carif's a little bit upset with himself right now. Kind of knows that he could have gotten the KO on this Lucmetal this turn, but I think overall he's not in a bad spot really at all. He's got a Fire Crystal in deck. He's kind of just hanging out. Can get some energies on this Reshizard turn 1. I mean, Angel V-Spec Jonathan, he's not in a great spot no matter what. Even if he is living this turn, it's just not ideal. He's going to go ahead and Primate Wisdom the Giratina, draw into it next turn. There's a Fire Crystal, so definitely a good spot for Carif right now. I think, yeah, you can just Outrage this turn. Do do 30 damage or so, and just kind of hang out. You know, you're just hanging out. Just hanging out. And we'll see. Maybe we see some coding energies at the end. Again, that Jirachi, or sorry, that Giratina is on the top deck, right? So, you know, you're probably not too worried about it. We see another Zacian come out. I'm not sure if that's 100% needed. We see a Boss's Orders. Is it into Dedenne? It is. Okay. Okay. So now you're really hoping for either like a Welder or a, you know, a Switch card. He's going to end his turn on Intrepid Sword. So, you know, kind of similar to last game. Kind of running out of too many options and just sort of ending up having to just Intrepid Sword a few turns in a row. We're going to see a Primate Wisdom. I think you put Giratina back on the top of the deck as well. You know, just in case like you do get Marnied this turn or next turn. We see Zigzagoon not going to be entirely necessary for him. You know, what he can do is just attach to the active Quick Ball, away some of these cards. Maybe just search for, I don't know if you want to search for another Dedenne. I think Crobat might be just fine. He is going to go for the Dedenne, though. I just don't know if discarding that last Fire Crystal might be that smart for him. You know, it might be a bit risky, concerning that he is running a little bit low on energies. And I think that's probably somewhat what he's debating right now. I think he's kind of trying to think, you know, what's the best move for me? Perhaps grabbing another Reshizard is the best move? I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. He does it anyway, though, which is very interesting. Okay. So he's going to get those fire energies back into his hand and just pass this turn. I guess, again, you know, he doesn't feel the need to rush anything, which I think is really smart on his part. You know, again, he could have perhaps tried to dig for that Welder or some sort of way to switch in this turn to get damage off on this Lucmetal. But at the end of the day, you know, Angel V-Spec, there it is. It's just sort of another Intrepid Sword situation. And he does find the top deck of the Switch, so definitely in a very good spot. And he does have Scoop Up Net, so he could go into Jirachi if he wanted to, perhaps find the Welder this turn. So we'll see, right? We'll see how this game goes. He's definitely in a very good spot, and I think this turn, you know, you're going to get the KO on this Lucmetal, take 3 prizes, and then really putting Angel V-Spec in a tough spot. There's the Welder. And of course, you still have plenty of ways and plenty of different cards that can help you find that Giratina if he does attach the Metal Coating Energy on. You know, I think you're pretty confident right now if you're Carif. You know, you're playing this smart, you're playing this calm, collected, slow pace, and you know, I just don't really know if there's anything really that Angel can do. You know, he can kind of try to stall again, but Carif seems to be playing this a little bit less fast pace, and I think that's overall a better strategy right now against Lucmetal. We're going to see the KO on this Lucmetal here. He's going to take 3 prizes, drop him down to 1. The Zacian's going to go into the active spot. Angel does have 8 cards, or he will have 8 cards in his hand here. One of those cards might be a Coating Energy, but Carif, again, he just grabbed a Quick Ball here off the prize cards, and that's a checkmate. That's a checkmate for him, and you know, nothing he can really do. Now, he did get the Coating Energy, but the Quick Ball in hand, he's going to find the Giratina, and he will be able to get the KO here on this Zacian. And that's all she wrote. You know, Reshiram and Charizard versus Lucmetal, guys. It's definitely sort of a, you know, it's a tough matchup, of course, for Lucmetal, right? Even with Metal Coating Energies and whatnot, the Energy Denial, it's just tough, right? There's not really much you can do. This Reshiram and Charizard, of course, it's actually a very good deck still. You know, it always was a good deck, but, you know, now it's just, I'm not sure what he's doing here. But, you know, now with some of these other attackers, you know, it's more consistent, has more options, and has a bit of a better, you know, matchup spread. And we see a pretty swift 2-0 victory there from Carif. You know, congratulations to him. So, you know, big shout out to Carif, Alessandro Cariffi, I'm not sure how to say his name, for winning the Chill Series number 13 tournament. We actually had 220 players. It was a massive Chill Series tournament, the biggest one of all time. So, hope you guys enjoyed the finals match, and I hope you guys, you know, tune in for the the upcoming videos this week. We're going to be talking about all the top 16 deck lists from the tournament. We're also going to be taking a look at this specific Reshiram and Charizard list. We're going to go over it. We're going to give it its own video, of course, just like we do with all of the championship decks. And that's going to wrap it up for the video. It's about 30 minutes long, I think, at this point. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in a few days.